You are not bad with money because you are not smart enough. That is not the problem, and deep down, you probably already know that, because you have seen it. Brilliant people, educated people, people who are genuinely sharp in every other area of their life, making financial decisions that make absolutely no sense from the outside. The doctor earning $300,000 a year with nothing saved. The engineer who understands complex systems but can't seem to build a simple budget that sticks. The lawyer who negotiates million-dollar contracts for clients but pays full price on a car they couldn't really afford. The accountant, someone who works with numbers professionally, carrying credit card debt at 24% interest. This is not rare. This is everywhere. And it raises a question that nobody really answers properly. If intelligence is not the barrier to financial success, and clearly it isn't, then what is? The answer is going to change how you see every financial decision you make from this point forward, because the enemy was never your intellect. It was something far more invisible, far more powerful, and far more human than that. Here is the truth that behavioral economists have known for decades, but nobody puts in plain language. Your brain was not built for modern financial decisions. Not yours specifically. Everyone's. The human brain evolved over hundreds of thousands of years to solve immediate problems, find food, avoid danger, respond to what is happening right now. It is extraordinarily good at that. It kept our ancestors alive through conditions that would be unimaginable today, but it was never designed to think about a retirement account 40 years from now. It was never built to resist a sale that triggers a reward response. It was never wired to feel the real weight of a debt that grows invisibly in the background while life feels perfectly normal on the surface. So when a smart person makes a dumb money decision, they are not failing because of a lack of intelligence. They are failing because they are using an ancient brain to navigate a modern financial world that it was never designed for. And here is what makes this so dangerous. Intelligence can actually make it worse. Smart people are better at building convincing arguments for decisions they have already emotionally made. They can rationalize almost anything. They can construct a logical case for why this purchase makes sense, why this investment is different, why the timing is actually perfect, why the rules that apply to everyone else don't quite apply to their specific situation. That ability to rationalize brilliantly is one of the most expensive cognitive gifts a person can have. Let's talk about the specific mental traps that catch smart people the hardest. Trap 1. Overconfidence. The smarter you are, the more confident you tend to be in your own judgment. And confidence is valuable until it isn't. In investing, overconfidence leads smart people to believe they can time the market, pick the winning stock, spot the opportunity everyone else missed. They trade more. They take bigger swings. They trust their analysis over the data, and the data is brutal. The overwhelming majority of people who try to outsmart the market, including professional fund managers with entire research teams, fail to beat a simple index fund over time. Intelligence is not an advantage here. It is often a liability. Trap 2. Present bias. Your brain assigns far more weight to what is happening right now than to what will happen in the future. This is not a character flaw. It is how every human brain is wired. But it means that the pleasure of buying something today feels enormously more real than the abstract benefit of having more money in 30 years. Smart people know this intellectually. They can explain it perfectly, and then they buy the thing anyway. Because knowing about a cognitive bias does not make you immune to it. It just makes you better at explaining why you fell for it. Trap 3. The sunk cost trap. You have already spent money on something. It is not working. The rational decision is to stop. Cut the loss, move on, but your brain, your very intelligent, very capable brain, refuses to let go, because stopping means admitting the original decision was wrong. And smart people have a particularly hard time with that, so they keep investing, keep holding, keep paying. Not because the numbers make sense, because their ego is attached to the original decision. This trap has cost smart people fortunes, in bad investments, in failing businesses, in financial products that stopped serving them years ago. Trap 4. Complexity bias. Smart people are drawn to complex solutions. Simple feels unsophisticated. If the answer were really just, spend less than you earn, invest the difference consistently, wait, then surely someone would have figured out something better by now. So they look for the smarter strategy, the more sophisticated approach. The system that requires more analysis, more research, more intellectual engagement. And in doing so, They walk right past the simple habits that actually build wealth and into the complicated strategies that mostly just create the feeling of doing something smart. Trap 5. Social signaling. Intelligence often comes with high earning potential. And high earning potential comes with a social environment that signals success in very specific ways. The car, the neighborhood, the restaurants, the clothes, the lifestyle that says, I have made it. Smart people are not immune to this pressure. In many cases, they feel it more acutely because the people around them are also high earners competing for the same signals. And so income that could be building real wealth gets spent on performing wealth instead. So what actually changes things? Not more information. Smart people already have the information. They know what a budget is. They understand compound interest. They have heard of index funds. They know debt is expensive. What changes things is systems that remove the brain from the equation entirely. The most financially successful people, regardless of intelligence, are not the ones who make the best financial decisions in the moment. They are the ones who have built structures that make the right financial behavior happen automatically without requiring a decision at all. The money moves before the brain has a chance to rationalize spending it. The investment happens before the month gets complicated. The debt payment goes out before the social pressure to spend builds up. The decision was made once, correctly, calmly, without emotion. And then the system executes it every single month without asking for permission again. This is the entire secret, not smarter decisions, fewer decisions, because every financial decision is an opportunity for your very capable brain to talk you into something that feels right but isn't. Here is what to actually do with all of this. Step 1. Acknowledge that you are not immune. The first step is the hardest for smart people specifically. Accepting that intelligence does not protect you from these traps, and may actually make some of them worse, is not comfortable, but it is the foundation of every financial improvement that follows. You are not above behavioral bias. Nobody is. And the moment you accept that, you stop relying on willpower and judgment and start building systems instead. Step 2. Automate every important financial behavior. Savings, investments, debt payments, bills. Every financial behavior that matters should happen automatically the moment your paycheck arrives. Not because you can't be trusted, but because removing the decision removes the opportunity for rationalization. Your intelligent brain cannot talk you out of something that already happened while you were sleeping. Step 3. Create a rule for big purchases. Smart people justify big purchases brilliantly in the moment. Counter that with a simple rule. Any non-essential purchase above a number you decide in advance requires a mandatory waiting period, 48 hours minimum, 1 week for larger amounts. Most purchases that felt urgent and logical in the moment feel completely different 3 days later when the emotional charge has faded. Step 4. Keep your investment strategy deliberately simple. Resist the pull toward complexity. A simple, low-cost index fund invested in consistently over decades will outperform the vast majority of sophisticated strategies attempted by highly intelligent people. Simple is not unsophisticated. Simple is what actually works. Let the complexity be in the consistency, not in the strategy itself. Step 5. Find one person who will tell you the truth. Smart people surround themselves with people who respect their intelligence, which often means people who don't challenge their financial decisions. Find one person in your life who will look at what you're doing with your money and tell you honestly what they see, not to judge, to reflect. Because the blind spots that cost smart people the most are almost always invisible to them and obvious to everyone else. Here is what I want you to take from all of this. The fact that intelligent people struggle financially is not a coincidence. It is a predictable outcome of using a brain optimized for one kind of problem to solve a completely different kind of problem, without acknowledging the mismatch. Your intelligence is an asset, an extraordinary one, but in the specific domain of personal finance, it needs guardrails. Not because you can't think clearly, but because the situations where financial decisions get made, emotionally charged, socially pressured, immediate, and visceral, are exactly the situations where even the clearest thinking gets hijacked. The goal is not to become a different person. The goal is to build a financial life that does not depend on you being at your best every single time a money decision shows up. Because you won't always be. Nobody is. Build the system. Trust the system. And let your intelligence do what it actually does best. Everything else. Smart people make dumb money decisions because they are human first and smart second. And being human means having a brain that was built for a world that no longer exists, making real-time emotional decisions about a financial system that rewards patience, consistency, and simplicity above everything else. Now you know the traps, you know why they work, and you know exactly how to build around them. The next financial decision you face, whether it is a purchase, an investment, a debt, you will see it differently. You will recognize the rationalization before it fully forms. You will know what your brain is doing and why. And that awareness, combined with the right system behind it, is worth more than any financial advice you will ever receive. Your money does not need a smarter you. It needs a more structured you. Build that structure. Anna Investment is here every step of the way.